Hey, Libra, Intuitive Soul Coach here with your October 2024 bonus reading. Welcome back to my channel if you're returning, and welcome if you're new. If you're interested in a personal reading, signing up for the monthly newsletter, or entering into the free reading giveaway, you can find all of that information in the description box below the video. All right, Libra, bonus reading. You have here a spiciness that is showing up. We're going to look at advice from your future self, but I'm being shown an image right away here of an opera singer. And you know how when there's an opera singer on stage, there's a climax, there's a build-up where I believe what it's called is a legato, where you get to that point where she just belts out from her lungs in such a profound way, the lyrics, and she goes on and on and on and on, and there's not a break in her voice whatsoever. It's just powerful, it's magnificent, but it's not for everyone. And so the message that I'm getting with this is there may be some sort of buildup. There may be a climax here towards mid to end of the month, possibly around that full moon in Aries on the 17th. That could be when something hits a peak. Now, you may have something to say. Okay, this could be a conversation because it is showing up here as, you know, coming from the diaphragm, the solar plexus, the heart, all the way up to the throat chakra, and then it's coming out, but you're not breaking a note. I feel like you are steadfast in something that is being brought out within you. It's quite profound. Now, like I said, not everyone loves opera, right? I mean, personally, I'm not the biggest fan, but the message is not everyone is going to like your spice, right? And I am getting a bit of spiciness here for you, Libra, but this is good spice, right? I think we all need a little bit of that. And I feel like you're showing up here in a way that honors your soul, honors who you are. So this could be a creative project or endeavor. This is you speaking up. This could be you. For some of you, it almost feels like it's ear shattering. So someone may not like what you tell them. Okay. Someone may not like what is coming out of your mouth because, like I said, it's not for everyone. You may even intimidate others in some way, but your future self is showing up as the Queen of Cups, and this is extreme self-care. So I have a feeling here, Libra, that what you are doing now, the steps that you are taking this month, have everything to do with you aligning to the truth of who you are. And even if that means you speaking up and creating a story that unfolds in a profound way, and other people may not understand your story or they may not agree with it. Perhaps they may even feel like you're being selfish in some way. You're doing this for you. You're doing it for you. That opera singer that goes on stage, even though, you know, she is there to entertain others, I mean, she sings from the heart and soul because it's what she loves, right? And ultimately, that is what makes the best entertainer in my book. And I feel like you are taking action. You are being bold. And those are your first cards showing up here as well. It says time to take action. What step can you take today to feel closer to your goal or dream? Today, cross one item off of your to-do list. Build momentum. It literally says build momentum. And that's what I was being shown here is the build up before we get to that point that just, again, it goes on and on and on and on. And for some of you, this is a conversation that needs to be had. It could be a creative idea in your career. This could be really taking off. But the interesting thing is there's not a crack in the notes, right? There's not, and that's, I believe, again, a legato, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It feels like it's just so beautifully harmonized. So this is something that even if it feels like you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, Libra, and tipping the scales in some way. It is actually rebalancing your scales, but it is going to require your participation. You're building momentum by taking the baby steps, crossing one thing off at a time. And I see you committing to doing something that helps you get closer to your dream. So for example, that opera singer, she most likely practices, right? She's most likely sang before, maybe even sang with a musical coach. It's something she's been preparing her lungs for, her voice, her diaphragm. And I feel like you are practicing for your moment, for your time in the spotlight, your time to shine here. Your mantra for the month is, when I show up consistently, I build confidence within myself. So this is something you're showing up for. Oh, I'm loving this. You have the sun in your energy too. But I feel like you are ready to take center stage. And you also have the Be Bold card. It says, stand in your power. Oh my gosh, you cannot make this up. It says, your time to shine is now. Libra, I haven't even looked at these cards as I'm channeling this information for you. Your time to shine is now. You're in the spotlight, Libra. You're on stage here. It has to start with you. Now is your time to take your life in your hands and be who you are ready to step into. Who is the person you want to be? Show up as her or him. And how does the person you want to be show up in her or his life? Create a vision board. Journal how you want your life to be and show up as that person. That's the message from your future self. Your mantra, today I stand confidently and boldly in my power. So yes, there is something here around action. There is a buildup. There's a buildup here. Oh, wow. And your final notes here, Queen of Swords with the Tower. I'm excited to dive in here. Bottom of the deck, the Fool. There's a new path. There's a new journey here for you ahead. You've come a long way. You have come a long way on your path, and you also have a very powerful gift. We're gonna save that for the end because it goes with this Tower and the Queen of Swords. But let's take a look at your present self. So right off the bat, you're showing up as the Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups is a turning point. Some of you, there was an emotional situation of the past or even emotional stagnation because of a situation that occurred for you in the past where you may have felt like you were in hanged man mode, or it took you a little bit of time to heal emotionally from a situation. I'm also getting some of you just didn't feel inspired. You were feeling a little bit bored, frustrated, impatient, maybe even a little bit of stubbornness. Maybe that's that spice I'm picking up on. But there is a turning point coming in here for you. If you haven't already shifted this within you, I feel like you will. And maybe that's that buildup, that momentum. And the Four of Cups is about reaching out and connecting on a level that I feel like it surprises you. It surprises you. It surprises everybody. They're, again, bringing me back to that opera singer on stage. And even though there is an expectation a bit of, what the opera singer is going to bring to the table, you never really know until she's in that energy of just, singing that final note. And it's almost piercing, right? It's almost piercing to some. And I feel like you may surprise yourself, or there's a situation, and it looks quite delicious with the sun here. It really does. You've been waiting for this for quite some time. But I feel like there's something that shifts here, and it motivates, it inspires, it uplifts, and it's a massive turning point if you've been feeling a little bit blue. And I just get that you're getting your fire back. You're getting your mojo back. And I did see the Queen of Wands as I was shuffling as well. So it feels like you're getting your confidence back regarding a situation. Now, your future self is showing up as the Queen of Cups. Because of this Four of Cups energy that you've sat in, even though you may have felt like you were taking 2 steps back just to take 1 step forward, during that transition period, or during that, we'll call it stagnant period, because some of you may have felt like, Mel, not a lot was going on, but really there was a lot going on for you, Libra, behind the scenes. You were practicing, you were building up for that moment for yourself to shine. And your future self is saying, you are someone who fosters genuine connections. This is part of your future, where you are fostering genuine, authentic connections with others, but more importantly with yourself. Because you may have felt disconnected from yourself, Libra, with that Four of Cups. You may have felt uninspired. Perhaps some of you weren't even feeling very intuitive, or you weren't really trusting in your creativity, or you just didn't feel like you had it. You were going through a little bit of a lull. And the Queen of Cups says, don't worry, darling. You will move past this, and you're going to come out stronger, more emotionally intelligent, more empathic, and more intuitive than ever. Some of you, this is the catalyst to your gifts. Okay, this is a catalyst to strengthening your spiritual gifts, strengthening your intuition here. The Queen of Cups is intuitive. She could be a psychic, a tarot reader. She may be in the caring profession, the healing profession. But it's interesting because she's represented as the glass cat. And we just talked about the energy being piercing. And it almost feels like you are protected. There's a level of protection where you're being very transparent here about who you are. I actually see the heart that is showing up in the glass. And even though she's glass, you know, she protects herself. She has this energy of, you know, I'm protecting. And I feel like your future self is protecting you at this time, even though there may be some disappointment, or it feels like you've been a little bit stuck. I feel like your heart is protected, and it's not in a defensive way. I don't see that showing up here. I feel like it's in a way of vulnerability. It means that vulnerability here is one of your greatest strengths. And maybe, Libra, that is something that you've had to work with, because maybe you have put up a little bit of a barrier or a little bit of a wall when it comes to not just your partnerships and your relationships, but perhaps your career and your creative projects. What inspires you? What fulfills you? I feel like in the near future, you're being very authentic and transparent about who you are. And yes, that may cause other people to say, Libra, you're not vibing with me, or, you know, it may cause other people to feel disappointed, but you're stepping into your power, and this is independence. I mean, the cat is quite independent. And she's also shining this blue. This is the throat chakra. So you're speaking your loving truth. And I feel like you have something to be expressed, something to be shared. And it is coming from a place of heart. So your future self is looking bold, looking beautiful, looking, you know, intuitive here. And with this Queen of Cups, some of you needed to focus on filling your own cup. And that's why you went through this Four of Cups, right? Because you may have been a people pleaser. You may have been taken advantage of at times. But that Queen of Swords energy that we see showing up at the end of your reading here says, you know, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from bullies. I've learned a lot from people who tend to want to fight, tend to want conflict, right? With the Five of Wands showing up here. And this is actually, what position is the Five of Wands here? We have this in spend more time on avoiding conflict, right? So how interesting that, you know, you've shown up as sometimes the monkey in the middle, and that can be Libran's energy of being the mediator, right? It feels like you're caught between a rock and a hard place when you're just trying to find the peace here. But I feel like you are being asked to step out of someone else's drama, or perhaps this is something within yourself. You're being asked to step out of this in order to focus on what really matters most to you. Now, the current situation is the Knight of Wands in reverse. I love that it's represented by the pumpkin head here, Jack the pumpkin head. What a beautiful time, October. But the Knight of Wands in reverse can be restlessness, inconsistency, and it can also be a spicy, bold Libra that doesn't want to settle for less than they deserve. I mean, sometimes the Knight of Wands can be a bit of a player energy. So some of you may be dealing with someone that feels very in and out of your life, very inconsistent. This could be a project that inspires you one day, but the next day you're like, yeah, I'll put it off till Friday. I'll put it off till next month. I'll put it off till next year. And so I feel like this question that you may be wanting answered, or the struggle or the current situation, it has to do with staying consistent in your actions. And that's why you actually have the take action. There's something that inspires you here, Libra, or you feel passionate about, you may feel desired, but you also don't want to go in blindly. Okay, you don't want to go in blindly. And Jack the Pumpkinhead, he's excited, but he's all over the place. And I feel like you are meant to practice a situation here. You have been building momentum. Practice what you're going to say or how you're going to put yourself out there, and stay consistent to it. Because when the Knight of Wands is showing up in his highest energy, he's enthusiastic, he is fun, he is charming, he's an adventurous soul, right? Like a gypsy soul. And this is that part of you, Libra, that I feel is spicy this month, where you have some ideas and you're feeling funny and witty. And I feel like some ideas that you have are not as far-fetched as it may seem. Okay. I also see here, it is important to take bold action towards your curiosities. And it could even be around Halloween or around the end of the month. As I said earlier, I feel like you are meant here to chase your curiosities and stay consistent with them, because we are curious creatures all the time, right? We can constantly be, oh, that's curious. I'm curious about that or that person, but then it stops at that, right? Spirit is saying here, what truly inspires that curiosity within you, and then take it one step further. And I also feel if there has been inconsistency in your life in whatever way, you're being bold and standing in your truth. And I feel like you're taking this matter in your own hands. And I feel like you are really showing up to be the type of person that you are wanting to attract in your life, or you're the type of person that inspires others, or the type of person that's abundant or has fulfilling relationships, or whatever it is that you are aspiring to maybe attract more of, you are becoming, and you're staying consistent with this. So what should you spend less time on? We do have the Chariot. Spend less time on a quick fix or instant gratification, or plowing forward with no clear direction. Okay, now that sounds interesting here. Plowing forward with no clear direction. Now that may feel a little bit opposite of what I just said with the Knight of Wands. It's important to explore your curiosities, but do your research. Instead of feeling like, okay, this is what I want, I'm going to go for it. And then when you get it, you realize, well, maybe I don't quite want this. So perhaps the research is really you going within and saying, what truly would make me happy, and how can I show up as that energy? Because then when I attract what it is that I've been wanting, then it's aligning where I want to keep it, right? Then it doesn't feel like when I get it, it's not exactly what I was hoping for. Now, the Chariot is represented by the flying monkey, right? The flying monkeys in the Wizard of Oz. Now, the flying monkeys are under the commands of others, and it is under the command of the Wicked Witch of the East, right? It's under the command, perhaps, of fear, under the command of jealousy, envy, rage, anger. And at the end of the movie, Wizard of Oz, the flying monkeys are then in the command of Dorothy, who is coming from a place of heart, coming from a place of love. She's commanding from that place of, heart-based energy, not fear-based energy. So spend less time on manifesting from a place of fear, Libra, because believe it or not, each and every moment we are manifesting, and sometimes it's lower vibrational manifestation, sometimes it's higher, right? And you know the difference. You're going to know the difference, because the difference is when you get it, you're like, maybe this isn't what I want. Maybe I acted impulsively, or perhaps this was a fear that I had and now it's self-prophesizing here. So spend less time on commanding the monkeys from the wicked witch within you, right? Not calling anybody a witch here, but we all have a shadow. We all have a shadow. And that's a big message for the collective in the month of October, is the shadow and the light. Now we can embrace them both, right? The wicked witch and Dorothy, I believe there's a card, I forget which one it is in this deck, but they can walk side by side. They can be friends. And I feel like when you command your manifestations from a place of heart, it's going to be more fulfilling to you. And that's what your future self is saying here as well with this Queen of Cups. Now, what should we spend more time on? Avoiding that drama, avoiding the drama here. Five of Wands, not just the drama, but this is also about self-criticism or criticizing others, or you may have a fear of being judged or criticized. We need to spend more time on focusing on the good traits that we have within ourselves and the good traits within others. Because some of you may have the perfect relationship, right? Or almost 99.9%. And there's one flaw that someone has, and 99 amazing features, but you focus on that one flaw. And that is something that we need to spend more time focusing on the 99, right? It makes logical sense, but the conditioning or the fears bring us to that 1%. And we say, but it's not perfect. And some of you may be a perfectionist. And I feel like there is a message here, and this could go for your work, right? This could go for your work if you're a perfectionist, or if you're a business owner, or even, imposter syndrome here. Or if there's a part that you may be focusing on, I'm not good at this, but you're good at 99 other things. You have two options. You can focus on those 99 other things, Libra, or you can gain the necessary coaching training, like we talked about with the vocals, right? Get a coach, get a mentor, a therapist. What is that other piece, if this is within yourself, that you can hone in on? And maybe it's something that you need to accept or embrace. Maybe it's something that cannot be shaped, shifted, or altered in some way, especially if it's within another person. Can you fully accept? And I feel like that may be what you are guided to spend more time on. All right. What do we need to remember? The devil. We need to remember the devil. Now, I like this showing up in this position. When we remember the devil, 3, 4, 5, 6, just making sure it's in the right position. It's also 6, which is the lovers in tarot. So the lovers and the devil, there's such a fine line right between. We tend to cross both of those lines in life. Now, devil spelt backwards is lived. We have to remember that we're souls having a human experience, and that we all have a little angel and a little devil, in our energies, but it's which one we feed, right? Which one do you want to feed? And because you are balanced, because you're a little bit of both, sometimes you may spend more time focusing on listening to the devil within. Sometimes you listen to that angel, right? Remember that you are supposed to embrace both. Now, that may be contrary to some belief, because we try to run from the devil. But because this is a month about embracing the shadow, and sometimes that devil can be our shadow, this is also the Wicked Witch of the East, right? Even though it's representing the Queen of Hearts here. And you're showing up as the Queen of Cups. But remember that, remember that sometimes other people's hearts break, or perhaps Maybe you've been a heartbreaker. This came up in, I think it was your monthly reading, Libra, the song Heartbreaker, Dream Maker, Love Maker. So some of you could have broke some hearts here, but remember that everyone that comes into your life in some way is contracted, right? They're part of your path for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And it's important to remember that this devil shows up within everyone. But when we deny it, reject it, when we pretend it's not there, when we forget that we are having this human experience and we're meant to live, right? Some of you are very hard on yourself. Some of you have been cut. You see the thorns in the background. I feel like it's also important here to make decisions of the heart that are best for you, but I feel like some hearts have been broken. And remember that that's part of the experience. And of course, when it does come to toxicity, okay, because sometimes the devil is toxic. It can be toxic love, tainted love here. It can come from a place of ego. And I feel like remember to stay humbled. Remember to liberate yourself when you cannot find balance between the devil and the angel. What can you do to bring you back to center and feel humbled instead of falling into the trap of the devil? All right. Let's take a look at what to let go of. What to let go of and what to give yourself credit for. We have the Sun and the Hanged Man. So we need to let go of ego, okay? And okay, let me rephrase that here. We all have ego, whether we want to or not. It's healthy. We can have a healthy ego. Contrary again to belief, sometimes we feel like ego needs to be completely removed. It will be, but not while we have this life on earth, because it's part of the human experience. But we can have a wounded ego, we can have an inflated ego, an altered ego, and a healthy ego. Because ego is attached to the devil. And like I just said, this is what's important to remember, that we have that devil and that angel energy, the light and the shadow, the polarity, the duality. That's what your sign stands for, and that's what we have here on earth. And it does say here, let go of things that don't make you happy. Yeah, let go of things that do not bring you happiness, that do not bring you peace. Now, of course, that doesn't mean just cut everything out and then, if something else shows up that you don't like, cut it out. No, because that's not us learning the lesson. It's actually spiritually bypassing. But if you have learned the lessons, or if this is a situation that is within your control, what's within your control? Your thoughts, your actions, the way that you perceive information, your perception, your views, right? All of those things are for you. And I see here that any limiting beliefs or anything that tells you that you deserve less than you deserve, that is something you are being guided to let go of, because that will interfere with your happiness here, Libra, and you deserve it. We all deserve happiness. And the sun is the garden of lively flowers here, and face what brings you happiness. It doesn't mean that by doing so, you're putting anything under the rug. If anything, it's the opposite, because you realize what it truly is that doesn't bring you happiness. There's the shadow, and it allows you to be able to face the light. So understanding what this devil is actually going to bring you the happiness. All right, what do we need to give ourselves credit for? The Hanged Man. The spiritual awakenings that you've gone through, right? The moments in your life that have felt like you've been on pause. The forced stops that the universe has put out there for you. If it felt like there wasn't a lot happening, if it felt like you were stuck in some sort of hanged man position for quite some time, give yourself credit, because during that time, you had some deep healing taking place, right? Just like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz, he went through seasons of cold, right? I think he froze up, right? He didn't have any oil. So for some of you, you felt very cold. You felt very shut down. You went through maybe seasons of inactivity. Recognize that during that inactivity, some of your greatest awakening, some of your greatest healing, and some of your greatest growth had taken place. Powerful. What's the outcome here, Libra? The potential to become, the potential to manifest. You have the Queen of Swords with the Tower in reverse. This is big. This is bold. I like this. This is destroying old structures. This is a brand new beginning, an awakening for you. Now, there is a sudden change here that really changes the dynamic of everything. And we talked about that in the beginning of your reading, because some of you may be sitting in that Four of Cups, right? Waiting. Okay, when is it my time to get on stage and really show them what I'm truly made of? To show them, you know, how powerful my vocals are in some way. And she is the thought leader. Queen of Swords is Libran energy, male or female, doesn't matter. But you're making some moves here, and it's not based on a rash decision with like the Knight of Wands can be, right? I feel like this is something you've been contemplating. This is something that has been a foundational shift for you here, Libra. And the Queen of Swords, she's intellectual, she's assertive, she is direct. She is someone who is honest, sometimes to a fault. She's blunt, but she can also deliver with compassion and kindness. She delivers the truth. And I feel like that's what you are standing up to at this time. That's what is shifting in your foundation, is you're making choices that are for you, that are aligned with who you are, Libra. Some of you could have red hair. Some of you could have tattoos on the shoulders. Okay. Some of you may feel bold and fiery this month. And that's kind of what I'm getting here for you. And your final message is you have a gift to share with the world. You have a special divine gift that you are here to gift the world. We can be so close to our own genius that we don't see our gifts as special, but they are. What makes you, you? How can you bring your natural, God-given gifts into the world? And this Queen of Swords, that's why we waited, because there's a message here for you in this. What makes you, you, Libra? And that's your energy. Brain dump and make a list of all the things you feel passionate about, that you love and that come natural to you. Name all the things others have said about you that come naturally to you. Are you kind? Are you passionate? Do you have great people skills? Are you a good communicator? Do you make people laugh? Are you that mediator, right? Do you bring beauty to the lives of others? I'm sure all of the above, Libra, because that's what you stand for. You're ruled by Venus after all. But your mantra here is, I am uniquely designed and divinely made. It's time to share my gifts with the world. That is the foundational shift that's taking place for you this month. I feel like this Tower is internal. Okay, I do feel like this is internal. This is yes, it could be something external that comes in hot, that allows you to release. What are we releasing? We are letting go of the things that do not bring us joy and happiness with the Sun here. But you're remembering that we are meant to go through the highs and the lows, the devil and the lover, right? The devil and the lover dance together many, many times in our earthly plane. And I feel like you're ready. You're ready to shine your light. Libra, that is what I have for you. I hope it resonates. Your future self is darn proud of you, darn proud of how far you come. I feel like your present self is as well, but you are emotionally more stable. You're emotionally feeling more balanced. And I feel like you are acquiring deeper intuitive knowledge as well. With this Queen of Cups and Queen of Swords, I feel like this is compassionate, intuitive knowledge that you could be a part of your gifts, that you are here to share with others in a deep, profound way. Thank you again, Libra, for being here. If the reading resonates, please hit that thumbs up button. It certainly helps get the divine channeled messages out there to those that need it most. Please feel free to hit that subscribe and share bell or notification bell. And lots of love to you, Libra. Happy, happy birthday.